Hey everyone, Decov13 here, and welcome back to some more Let's Play Fate Stay Night. Alright, quite the, events yesterday between, fighting Shinji and Ryder inside of the Blood Fort. Shiro barely surviving an attack from Ryder. Fortunately we weren't able to kill Shinji. But, we're gonna decide what to do about him now, I guess. Looks like we're gonna have a strategy meeting, so let's jump on in and see what happens. Oh, come on. Typo there? Where everyone's gonna fucking see it? I'm having a bad dream. My body, injured as it is, demands long, deep sleep. But my mind is still stuck replaying all that happened today and won't let me rest peacefully. My body, still not fully healed, is burning. My mind is plagued with guilt. I think I'm crying out in my sleep. As I sleep, my dream drags on. How many victims were there? Towasaka said there were no deaths, but that might just be the official story. No way does someone come out unscathed after having their life force ripped from them. They could suffer any number of long-term physical problems in years to come, or even brain damage from lack of oxygen. Some students even had severe skin damage. Even if they heal, they'll likely have scars for the rest of their lives. My body hurts. I nearly died today. No, I did die today. A convulsion rocks my whole body. Bad luck for everyone who got sucked into this today, but you did well, Shiro. You stopped a catastrophe, and you did it by taking a wound that would normally kill you. There's nothing to feel guilty about. The pain tries to tell me to just go to sleep. No. I can't make excuses for myself. It doesn't matter. There was disaster and I just happened to be there, but I couldn't do anything. They're saying I saved lives, but I didn't save anyone. Not one person. If only this had just been a mistake. If only it hadn't happened, then my mind would be at peace and I could sleep. I'm pissed off. It's absurd. My heart complaining like this when my body's already so weak. There won't be a miracle like that. Just wishing for a do-over because things didn't go well or were so terrible they should have never happened is pathetic. You can't take back what's already done. It's not possible and shouldn't be attempted anyway. So I can't just pretend all that didn't happen. There's only one thing I can do. Make sure I do everything I possibly can to prevent anything like that from ever happening again. That's enough sleep. I can worry about my body later. If I can move, I should wake up and hit the ground running. If my goal is to make sure no one is hurt, I'll need to push myself to the verge of death. I open my eyes. I take one deep breath, filling my lungs with air. The frigid winter air dispels my drowsiness almost completely. I realize it's just past 6 in the morning. Habits really are extraordinary things. My body must have at least partly recovered since I'm waking up at my usual time.
Yes.
I stand up and fold up my futon blanket. The instant I undertake even such a mundane task, intense pain spikes through my left shoulder.
そりゃそうだよな。さすがにまだ治りきってないか。
It's only pain, though. This is far better than what I felt when Berserker tore out my stomach the other day. When that happened, my insides felt like they were slush, and the nausea was far more intense than the pain. I head out to the hallway. The sunlight is muted by the gloom outside. It's cloudy. Looks like it's going to rain.
Shiro, 目が覚めたのですか?
ああ、今目が覚めた。そういうセイバーこそ今朝は早いんだな。いつもならまだ眠ってる時間じゃないか。
Yeah, Saber's not typically up so long before breakfast.
シロ、私とて好きで眠っているわけではありません。私が朝食まで眠っているのは単に魔力を温存するためだと言ったはずです。いかにも普段から寝過ごしているという物言いはやめてほしい。
なんでさ、 別にそんなつもりで言ってないぞ俺。単にこんな早起きしていいのかって思っただけだ。
ほう、そうですか。私が早起きするのはおかしいと。
Saber sounds crabby. Maybe it's my imagination. Saber doesn't seem quite as reserved as usual.
いや、おかしいとかじゃなくていいのかなって。セイバーが頻繁に眠らなくちゃいけないのは俺のせいだ。だから今朝もできる限り眠っていないといけないんじゃないのか。
当然です。ですがそれはあくまで待機状態に過ぎません。私が眠っていたのは緊急時に備えてのもの。
道理にかなわないってなんで。別に今は誰とも戦ってないし襲われてもいないぞ。
いえ、ですからそれは。
Saber's stumbling over her words. Seems like there's something she doesn't want to say.
いいけど今は緊急ってわけじゃないんだし、出かけるまで眠っていた方がいい。朝飯ができたら呼びに行くから、それまで力を温存しといてくれ。今日一日セイバーの力を借りることになるんだから。
I head to the kitchen.
待ってください、シロ。
なんだよセイバー、他に何か。
あなたは今何をすると言いましたか？
I hold my breath, barely realizing I'm doing it. She's asked me something, but her eyes are preventing me from giving an answer.
そもそもあなたは安静にしなければいけない体でしょう。朝食の支度など凌駕します。シロが優先すべきことは部屋で休み体を癒すことです。それが分かっていないとは言わせません。
セイバー。
Saber's being so stern because she's genuinely concerned about me.
部屋に戻ってください、シロ。眠りが必要なのは私ではなくあなたの方です。
Saber sees right through me and glares at me all the more intensely. But still, I can't let Shinji loose.
いや、部屋には戻らない。もう十分休んだし、やらなくちゃいけないことがあるだろう。準備ができたら街に出よう、セイバー。今日中にシンジを捕まえるんだ。
なぜですか？今日中にライダーのマスターを捕らえる理由などありません。戦うのならシローの傷が癒えてからにするべきです。
それは違う、セイバー。順番で言うなら俺の体なんて後回しだ。そんな暇はないんだ。シンジのやつが何をするかはお前だってわかるだろう。またあんな結界を張られる前にあいつからライダーを切り離す。サーバントがいなくなれば。
昨日のような犠牲者を出したくないというのですか？ライダーのマスターを倒すのではなく、ただそれだけのために戦うと。
そんなことはない。シンジには責任を取らせる。そのためにはライダーを倒さなくちゃいけないだけだ。それに犠牲者を出さないために行動するなんていうのは当たり前だろ。そんなこと戦う理由以前の問題だ。
そうですか。マスターがそう言うのなら私は従うだけですが。
シンジを探す？別に文句はないけど、ちゃんと勝ち目があって言ってるんでしょうね、シロ。
It's after breakfast. That's Tosaka's immediate response when I say we can't just let Shinji remain on the run.
勝ち目ってシンジに対してか？
そうよ。前もって言っとくけど、賞賛もないくせに他のマスターに手を出す気だったなんて言ったら笑うわよ。
ああ。
Crap. Now that she mentions it, I've really only thought about stopping Shinji. I haven't much given thought to the details. Or any.
ちょっとエミヤ君本気？
すまん。笑ってくれ。
うわ、悪いけど笑えないわ、今の冗談。
That reaction makes it clear just how stupid I'm being. I want to curl up into a little ball and hide.
セイバー、あんたのマスターはこんなんだけど、あなた自身はどうなの？ライダーと戦うことに異論はないわけ？
ライダーと戦うだけならば問題はありません。彼女の能力は確認済みです。それはシロー本人も分かっていると思います。何しろライダーと直接対峙したのですから。
ああ、そうだっけ。ならシローにもライダーがどの程度かは分かっているんだ。
Tosaka looks my way, her eyes curious. She obviously wants to know about how strong Ryder is. True, I do have something of an assessment. Maybe it's because I've formed a contract with a servant, or maybe it's the power of the command spells. She may not be my servant, but I have some understanding of her abilities since I've seen her fight. Ryder wasn't an especially strong servant.
ライダーはセイバーほど強くない。1対1の戦いならまず負けはしないと思う。
そうなんだ。ならちゃんと勝算はあるんじゃない。シンジは魔術師じゃないからライダーはマスターからの支援を受けられない。必然的にセイバーとライダーの一騎打ちになるものね。
Tosaka's right. As long as Shinji's a master, Ryder has to fight on her own. Saber shouldn't be at a disadvantage, but...
何よ、気の乗らない顔して。何か問題でもあるっていうの？
ああ、いいか登坂。それだけ戦力的に上回ったセイバーに追い詰められていたのに、ライダーはシンジを連れて逃げ延びたんだ。あれはライダーの宝具だったと思うんだが。
The arrow of light that tore through the hallway. If Saber hadn't shoved me to the ground, that wave of destruction would have completely annihilated me. If that was Ryder's ace in the hole, we shouldn't take her lightly, even if she is weaker.
つまりライダーはライダー本人より所有する宝具の方が優れてるタイプってわけね。でセイバー、シローはともかくあなたならライダーの宝具が何であるか分かったんじゃない？目の前で使われたんだから見当ぐらいはついてるんでしょ？
面目ありません。シローを守ることに精一杯で、私もあれが何であるか確認することはできなかった。そんなことに気を割いていたら、私もシローもあの一撃に巻き込まれていたでしょう。
巻き込まれたって何？ライダーの宝具って飛び道具なの？
それに近いものでした。分類的にはリンの使う魔術に近い。あれは私の剣やランサーの槍のような対人宝具ではないのでしょう。
私の魔術に近いってそれこそ変よ。セイバーの対魔術は神業じゃない。現代の魔術じゃまずあなたに傷を負わせることはできない。そのあなたがかわさなくちゃいけない魔術なんて、それは。
はい、神秘はより強い神秘の前に無効化される。私の鎧を通ることができる神秘はあなたたちの言う魔法か神域に住む幻想種だけです。
魔法使い？ライダーは魔術師だっていうの？セイバ
ー。いいえ、それほどの魔力は感じませんでした。彼女はライダーです。魔法使いがいるとすればそれはキャスターだけでしょう。ライダーの宝具はおそらく別のものだと思います。
Saber's answer gets a sigh of relief from Tosaka. I don't quite get what's going on, though.
セイバー、お前の鎧っていうのはそんなに硬いものなのか？魔法でなければ通らないなんて言うけど、それならランサーのゲイボルクは魔法ってことになるが。
ええ、確かにランサーのゲイボルクは魔法に近い呪いですが、リン、シローに説明してあげてくれますか？
私？まあいいけど、要するにシローはセイバーは魔法じゃないと傷つかないと勘違いしているわけね。
あ、いや別にそういうわけじゃないけど、ただそんなに頑丈な鎧ならすごいなって思っただけだ。
そりゃすごいわよ。セイバーに限らずサーバントってのはみんな英霊なのよ。霊体ってこともあるけど、まっとうな手段じゃ傷一つつけられない。サーバントはそれ物理的な手段でサーバントを傷つけられるのは同じ英霊であるサーバントだけ。逆に言えばサーバント同士ならただのペーパーナイフでもセイバーを傷つけることはできる。
相手がサーバントなら セイバーの鎧もそう鉄壁ってわけじゃないってことか。
そうね。けどセイバー自身接近戦の技量が優れているから、白兵戦ではまずセイバーに傷は負わせられない。残った手段は遠距離からの攻撃、魔術っていう飛び道具になるわけだけど、セイバーは騎士のくせにとんでもない対魔力を持ってるから、大抵の魔術は弾かれてしまうのよ。バッドラックに代表される呪いなんてまず届かないし、魔力を矢として放つ直接干渉も効かない。セイバーを倒したかったら真正面からの切り合いで彼女を任さなくちゃダメってわけ。
Saber listens silently to Tosaka's explanation. Saber never interrupts her, probably because everything Tosaka is saying is true.
なんだよ、そんなのインチキだ。剣技で叶わないから魔術で勝負するっていうのに、魔術そのものがセイバーに効かないならどうしろって言うんだ。なんか不公平だぞ、その話。
そうね。けどそのセイバーだって白兵戦で絶対に負けないというわけでもないでしょ。バーサーカーは力だけならセイバーを上回ってるし、ランサーだって白兵戦において必殺の槍を持ってる。今話してるライダーだってセイバーを出し抜くほどの宝具を持ってたんだから、セイバーも完璧ってわけじゃないわ。私たちだってセイバーを倒す方法はあるもの。単にセイバーの耐え魔力を上回る魔術を持ってくるか、サーバントが使っている武器を借りて寝ている間に首を切るとか。サーバントの武器ならサーバント自身と同じ霊格なんだから、傷をつけることは可能なはずよ。
It's an alarming example, but I get it. Wait, but hold on, Tosaka. We probably shouldn't be talking about things like this in front of Saber.
そうなんだ。じゃあライダーの宝具が特別優れてるってわけじゃなくて、サーバントの攻撃だからセイバーも守りに徹したってことなのか。
わけないでしょ。セイバーが守りに徹するのなら、ライダー自身じゃ何をしたって追い詰めることなんて不可能よ。ライダー本人がそう優れた英霊じゃないのなら、彼女が宝具を使ったところでたかが知れているし。そうでしょセイバー。ライダーの宝具はライダー自身の能力とは関係のない武器なのよね。
おそらくライダーの技や魔力に頼らない自動的な武装、宝具そのものに効果があるものだと思います。魔術か幻想種か、どちらにせよあの魔法陣から放たれたものは圧倒的でした。直撃を受けた場合、生き延びられるサーバントなどいないでしょう。
そうなの？数値的にどれくらい？
あなたたち風に言うのなら A プラスといったところでしょうか。私個人の推測に過ぎないので断定はできませんが。
A プラス？何それ、魔法一歩手前じゃない。そんなの使われてよく学校が吹っ飛ばなかったってもんだわ。
単純に破壊するだけの宝具というわけではないのでしょう。もともとは他の用途がある宝具なのではないでしょうか。
そうだとしても厄介ね。セイバーの話じゃ A 判定どころじゃないし、瞬間的な攻撃力ならサーバント中最高ってことになるのかしら。
まあ確かに攻守ともに優れた宝具のようでしたが、それより私の宝具の方が。
Saber's face is indecipherable. Huh? I don't know what just happened. Saber doesn't look amused.
セイバー、遠坂の意見なんか引っかかるところでもあるのか。
いえ、別にそういうわけではないというか、本当はどちらが強いかなど追求するのは騎士にあるまじき行いというか。
She's acting strange. Saber seems embarrassed by her own actions and starts to mutter under her breath.
まあいいけど、それよりさ、さっき妙なことを言ってなかったか。セイバーとランサーのは対人宝具とかなんとか。
対人宝具ですか。いえ、言葉通りの意味ですが、私の風王結界やランサーのゲイボルクはあくまで人を倒すための武装です。 いかに強力な魔力、呪いを帯びていたところで、その用途は対人の域を出るものではありません。
Well, I guess that makes sense. Saber's invisible sword is definitely useful in battle. That's only effective against people. If you chopped firewood with Saber's sword, whether you can see the blade or not isn't going to affect how quickly you can chop wood. It's the same with Lancer's Gabolg. Even a cursed spear that always strikes the heart is just a sharp spear if you use it against a boulder or a house.
なるほど。だから対人の宝具ってことなのか。ならライダーの宝具は
大軍宝具ってことになるわね。
Yeah.
そういえば父さんに聞いたことがあったわ。宝具には対人に優れたもの、大軍に優れたものがあるって。簡単に言って対人宝具は弾数制限のない拳銃で、大軍宝具ってのは一発限りのミサイルってことね。ライダーの宝具は強力だけど、その分使用にかなりの制限があるんじゃないかしら。少なくともセイバーの剣みたいにいつも見えないなんて永続的な宝具じゃない。
Hold on a minute. A gun versus a missile. There's no contest. Sure, Saber's invisible sword is awesome, but if she goes up against a ridiculous noble phantasm like that, she'll be dead before she can even swing her sword.
つまりライダーと戦うのなら宝具を使われる前に倒せってことか。
でしょうね。宝具の打ち合いになったら勝ち目はない。ライダーとシンジを探すって言うなら、それだけは頭に入れておきなさい。大前提としてライダーが宝具を使う前に倒すこと。戦いを長引かせれば長引かせるだけこっちが不利になるから。
もしくは私が戦っている間にライダーのマスターを倒せばいい。あのマスターに戦闘手段はないのだから、そちらの方が確実かもしれません。
So that's what we've come up with. Since we have no strategy to deal with Ryder's noble phantasm, we just need to defeat Ryder before she uses it. Whatever noble phantasms other servants have, we still don't want to have to deal with Ryder's.
忠告助かったよ、遠坂。俺たちはシンジを探しに行くけど、遠坂はどうする？留守番していてくれるか？
そうね。あなたたちがそう言うなら私たちもシンジを探してもいいんだけど、まあやめとくわ。敵はライダーだけじゃないし、私たちはもともとバーサーカーを倒すために手を組んだんだしね。シローがシンジを追っている間、私は私でやることがあるから。
Tosaka stands up with a frosty smile.
それじゃあね。いい結果を期待しているわ。
Alright. Just Shiro and Saber. Saber and I head out together, leaving Tosaka at home. It's 7:30 in the morning. The hilly road is extremely quiet. The road is usually packed with students going to school, but there aren't that many people around today.
学校は休校だそうですね。死者が出なかったとはいえ、大半の生徒は未だ立ち上がれる体ではないということですか。
重度の栄養失調みたいなもんだからな。まともに動けるようになるまで何日かはかかるだろう。
But those are the lucky ones. There are still some whose injuries will last a lifetime.
タイガも病院に運ばれたと聞きます。見舞いに行かずともいいのですか、シロ。
ああ、不死ねえのはただの疲労だと。心配しなくてもいいから真面目に家で勉強してろとさ。
Before we left, I phoned the Fujimura house and asked how Fujine was doing. I want to go visit, but I need to hold off for now.
では探索に専念するのですね。それはいいのですが、シロに当てはあるのですか。私はサーバントの気配を読み取れますが、それも近づかなければわかりません。何か手がかりがなければ、
ああ、確かにシンジが何もせずに隠れていた場合、探し出すのは難しいだろう。
Yeah, he's gonna be up to
あいつ
something.
の性格から言って昨日の今日でおとなしくしているとは思えない。
Or trying to get revenge.
ではライダーのマスターは再び結界を張ろうとすると。
Yeah.
間違いなくな。俺と同じであいつはサーバントに魔力を提供できない。俺たちに復讐しようとするならまず魔力を貯めないといけないだろう。なら見つけ出すのはそう難しくはないんじゃないか。
ライダーのマスターを探すのではなく、 結界を探すのですね。
ああ、マスターの感知はできなくてもあれだけの結界なら近づけばわかる。それに場所も特定できるだろう。大きな建物で人がたくさん集まるところを当たっていけばいい。
驚いた。やりますね、シロ。
俺だって考えなしってわけじゃないぞ。探し出せる自信がなかったらこんなことは言い出さないよ。
Yeah, I'm confident. The bounded field is one thing, but there's a point to us walking around like this too. Shinji probably can't leave me alone any more than I can leave him alone. I head to Shinji's house just in case. I have Saber check for Ryder's presence. She finds nothing. Well, Shinji's not the sort to just roll over and hide in his house after what's happened.
行こう。シンジが結界を張るとしたらこっちの町じゃなくてシントの方だ。オフィス街のビルを総当たりしていこう。
I call Saber over and turn to leave the Mato house.
いいのですか、シロ。ここはさくらの家なのでしょ。立ち寄ったのですから声をかけては。それぐらいは余裕があると思いますが。
I am worried about Sakura. According to Tosaka, Sakura was just weakened and luckily wasn't injured beyond that. If it were up to me, I'd like to see her and take care of her the way she's always taken care of me. But
やめておく。この戦いが終わるまではさくらと会って戦いに巻き込むわけにはいかないからな。
besides, I can't possibly face Sakura. I'm about to head out to fight her brother. Should the worst happen and I actually kill Shinji, I'll never be able to face her again. I shouldn't leave any loose ends like that. It's best for me, and I'm sure it's best for Sakura too. We check every building we find. Of course, we start with the big ones, but so far, nothing. I wipe the sweat from my brow and force my leaden limbs to keep moving. I try to calm my labored breathing by just taking a moment to rest.
シロ、何か異常でもあり。シロ、こちらへ。
ちょっと待って、そっちは公園だぞ。こっちには。
それは後にしてください。今はこちらが最優先です。
Something must have caught her attention. Saber's tone is stern and she pulls me towards the park.
セイバー、どうしたんだよ。こんなところまでやってきて。ここには何もない。そんなのセイバーにだってわかるだろう。
いいですから、そこのベンチに座ってください。話はその後で聞きます。
Saber's intense about this, so I reluctantly sit down. And then, for a moment, I almost feel faint. I hold my head with one hand. My forehead is damp with sweat, my breathing is labored, even though I'm sitting down. Hey, wait a minute. Why would I be sweating like this in the dead of winter?
おかしいな。こんなに疲れてたのか、俺。
As soon as I say that, I realize what's going on. I'm not exhausted. My wounds haven't completely healed, so they're tingling. This is unreal. No matter how much I try, I can't get my breathing under control. My body feels heavy and my legs refuse to take my weight.
ようやく自分の体に気がついたようですね、シロ。
Saber's mad. I don't blame her. I was the one who suggested searching for Shinji, but here I am sitting on a bench.
すまん。すぐ動けるようにするから、しばらく待ってくれ。
私が注意しているのはそんなことではありません。どうやらあなたには何を言っても無駄のようですね。
I can see that Saber's mad. What I don't understand is why. It's because you're not taking care of yourself, dude.
ちょっとセイバー、きちんと言ってくれないと何が言いたいのかわからないんだが。
わからないのなら語る必要はないでしょう。いいですから、シロはそこで休んでいてください。一人で休むのが嫌なら、私もお付き合いしますから。
Saber sits right next to me. The bench is not that big. Saber's sitting close enough to me that our shoulders might touch if one of us leans over even a little.
いや、待てってセイバー。休んでる暇なんてないだろう。俺たちは遊びに来たんじゃなくて。
遊びになど来ていません。 休憩も戦いのうちです。文句を言うのでしたらまずその呼吸を整えてからにしてください。
いや、呼吸を整えろってお前。
Sure, I'm totally worn out, and I can barely breathe. Having her so close makes my heart go absolutely crazy, and...
シロ、人の話を聞いていますか？今まで体に無理をさせてきたのですから、まずは肩の力を抜いて落ち着いてください。
いや、だから。
She wants me to be calm. It'd really help if she kept her distance. I don't know how Saber feels, but I can't help but see her as a girl around my own age. Well, she may actually be younger, but she's still a girl. And plus, she's beyond beautiful. No guy could stay calm this close to her, and I'm certainly no exception.
シロ、気のせいでしょうか？先ほどより顔色が悪くなってきた気がするのですが。
そんなことない。動揺なんてしてないぞ、こっちは。
それならいいのですが、やはり横になった方がいいのでしょうか？この辺りで休めるところと言ったら。
Saber looks around. Oh, what the? What are the odds of there just being some random dude lying across a nearby bench using his girlfriend's lap as a pillow in a park that's usually deserted? And Saber glances at the pair of lovebirds. She's obviously thinking.
シロ、気分が悪いのでしたら横に。
大丈夫、おとなしくしてればすぐに落ち着くから。余計な心配はしなくていい。しなくていいから当分ほっといてくれ。
I turn away from Saber and close my eyes. Anything to keep our eyes from locking. Think calming thoughts, Shiro. Now I just have to keep taking deep breaths and try not to think about Saber being right next to me. It took a night for the fire to die down. The searing, roaring red wall eventually disappeared. All that remained was a charred field strewn with smoldering, blackened lumber. I remember that while I lay there on the ground, and the sound of it reminded me of sparklers. The sky was getting cloudy. It should rain soon. That will help put out the fires. I could hardly even breathe as I lay there staring dazedly at the sky. Charred remains hemmed me in on all sides. Burns cover almost my entire body. There's an especially painful sensation around my chest. My chest is gouged out. I could probably touch my own insides. Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that. I didn't collapse because I got tired. It's not that my numb body was trying to do me a favor by letting me rest. I collapsed because I was much too hurt to keep moving. At all. That's why I ended up just accepting it calmly. No panic. I knew I wasn't going to make it. Everyone else was already dead anyway, so I wasn't scared. Staring up at the cloudy sky, I felt myself just sort of fading away. Yet, in the haze of fading consciousness, I decided that as long as I was alive, I tried calling for help. Right till the end. Huh? Wait. Something's off. I shouldn't be remembering this pain in my chest. I jerked myself upright, and tugged my shirt open to check myself over.
だよな。傷なんてないし。
There's no scar on my chest. The respiratory distress that burn caused did almost kill me, but I didn't take some massive chest wound. If something like that had happened, even Kiritsugu wouldn't have been able to help me. But more importantly...
夜になってる。俺寝ちまってたのか、セイバー。
はい。よく眠っているようでしたので起こしませんでしたが、その会話あったようですね。先ほど。
人が悪いな。居眠りした俺が悪いにしても、起こしてくれてもよかったじゃないか。休んでいる暇はないって言っただろ。
休息は必要な行為です。それにシロが眠っていたのは1時間程度ですから、そう問題はないでしょう。
そりゃ結果論だ。俺が起きなかったらどうするつもりだったんだよ、一体。
そうですね。あまり変わりはないでしょう。日が落ちて寒くなってきましたから、そろそろ声をかけようと思っていたところです。
まあ確かに体の調子はすごくいいけど。
I get up from the bench and start walking through the field. There's no trace of what this field once looked like. No trace of when it used to be a residential district, nor any trace of when it was cast in that hellish red light. But for some reason I'm irritated that I dreamed that scene just because I slept here.
シロ、何か問題でもあるのですか？
ああ、いや、どうせ休むなら別の場所にするべきだったなって。ここはどうも嫌な思い出がありすぎる。
嫌な思い出。シロはこの場所に縁があったのですか？
そっか、話してなかったっけ。俺昔はこの辺りに住んでたんだ。10年前の話だけどな。大きな火事が起きて両親も家も焼け落ちた。その時に親父に助けられてそのまま養子になったんだよ。
ではあなたは？
ああ、キリツグの実の子供ってわけじゃない。それに聖杯戦争と無関係ってわけでもないのかな。ここが前回の戦いの最後の場所だってのは聞いてるよ。そこで生き残った俺がマスターになるんだから皮肉というか縁があるっていうか。
I walked through the field. It's been 10 years, but it still seems like the ground hasn't recovered enough for even grass to grow. Maybe all the resentment of the people who died here has seeped into the land itself.
シロ、あなたが犠牲者を出すまいとするのはそれが理由ですか？あなた自身が聖杯戦争の犠牲者だからこそ自分のような犠牲者は出したくないと。
いや、それは。
Now that she mentions it, I guess I can see people coming to that conclusion. Surprisingly, I've never thought about it like that.
どうだろう。セイバーの言うことはもっともだけど俺はもっと単純だと思うよ。10年前さ、ここでキリツグに助けられた時はただ嬉しかった。それ以外になかったから自分もそうなれたらいいと憧れたんじゃないかな。
Yeah, I was just happy. Words can't even begin to describe what I felt when I called out for help, and actually got it. But at the same time, the happier I was, the more guilty I felt.
けど自分だけ願いが叶えられたってのは居心地が悪かった。俺は親父に助けられたけど他の人たちは助けられずにずっとこのままだ。
Everyone wished for salvation, but only my wish was granted. Only I was saved. And in exchange, everyone else died. And that's why I have to take responsibility.
けどまあ起きてしまったことは戻しようがないからな。死んでいった人たちに報いたいならせめてこれからのことを防ぐべきだ。10年前のような惨事は起こさせない。またあんなことになったらそれこそ犠牲になった人たちに合わせる顔がないだろう。まあ俺の理由なんてその程度のものだと思う。
More importantly, we need to get back to looking for Shinji. I feel better now. We need to hurry up and check the buildings we haven't gotten to yet. Besides, there should be fewer people around at night. If Shinji wants to attack us, this will be the time. So if our plan is to be bait to lure him out, it's time to get to it.
行こうか、セイバー。とりあえずオフィス街に戻ろう。セイバー、どうした？忘れ物でもあるのか？
いいえ、ただ今朝のことを思い出していました。体の傷を治してからライダーのマスターを探すべきだと言った私にシローは順番が違うと言いました。シローは昨日も同じ言葉を口にした。以前から感じてはいましたがその時に確信したのです。あなたには自分を助けようとする気がないのだと。
It's like she just stares at me and lays it out like it's a sin or something.
あなたは自身より他人を優先している。それは立派ですがそれではあなたはいつかきっと後悔する。シローはもっと自分を大切にするべきだ。
Saber cuts past me.
行きましょう。確かにここにいてはあなたに負担をかける。
Saber heads towards the office district. I try to call out to her, but I can't stop her.
何を？
Are you saying? That's what I want to ask her, but the words just won't come. There's no way I'm not trying to help myself. That can't be true. But I somehow can't think of a single thing to say to argue with her. We make our way through the town after dark. It's a little past 8. The station is at its most crowded hour, and Saber and I stare at the map of the town.
主だった建物は回りましたね。他に行くべき場所はありますか？
そうだな。少し離れたところに工場がある。あそこも人が集まる場所だから調べておかないと。まあ、工場っていうのはシンジの趣味じゃないと思うんだが。
We do make conversation now, but it's still hard for me to look Saber in the eye. I think our conversation from earlier is still stuck in my head. Saber's acting like it didn't happen, which bothers me even more.
そういうセイバーの方はどうだ？ライダーの気配はつかめるか？
いいえ、感じません。彼女とは一度戦っていますから、近くにいれば知覚できるのですが。
An odd feeling prickles my skin. Even I can feel the wave of magical energy that washes over us. There's no way that Saber can't.
シロ、言うまでもないと思うのですが。
わかってる。近くにいるのか、セイバ
ー。いいえ、まだそこまでの距離ではないようです。ですが、確実に見られている。この魔力は私たちに対する挑発でしょう。
If we're being watched, that means they've fallen into our trap. Releasing so much magical energy is an obvious attempt to lure us out.
で、この気配、ライダーなのか。
My mind changes gears. The awkwardness between Saber and me earlier disappears.
魔力をたどります。注意してください、マスター。
I nod. The wave of bloodlust I feel stinging at my skin is coming from the direction of the office district as it slowly empties of people. Today of all days, maybe there'll be nobody working overtime. Most of the lights in the windows of the building seen as the heart of Shinto are dark. There aren't many people on the sidewalks, and we have a pretty clear view of the building. I don't see anyone suspicious. If Shinji's anywhere, he'll be up ahead. Maybe in the park we just left. I feel the bloodlust growing more intense. The enemy's nearby. Or more like... a chill runs up my spine. If even I can feel this aura of bloodlust, then we're probably already in enemy territory.
セイバー、気をつけろ。何か変だ。
ええ、シローの感覚は正しい。このように人目のある場所で仕掛けてくるとは思いませんが、相手が相手です。用心に越したことはありません。
We both nod in silent agreement and make our way toward the park. It's probably best to ignore the oppressive sense of a knife being pressed into my throat. Shinji and Ryder are nowhere around the office district. If they're going to attack, it's probably going to be somewhere in the park, where there won't be anyone else around.
シロー、
セイバー。
I turn towards Saber. She rushes towards me like a bolt of lightning and blocks a blow aimed straight at my head. I look up. A massive building towers overhead. Clinging to the side of that building like some kind of spider is Ryder. Her hair is long enough to cover her entire body, her limbs supple and white. The masked woman is indeed our enemy. Ryder. She licks her lips as she stares down at me. The hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. There's no mistaking it. She came spiraling down from the top of the building, aiming to take my head in a sneak attack from our blind spot. Saber lands on the ground. In the time it took for her to rush in to block Ryder's attack, Saber summoned her armor.
セイバー、あいつは。
追います。シローはここにいてください。
追うってどうやって？
Saber kicks off from the ground. She disappears into the sky with a glint of silvery armor. Ryder clinging to the side of the building like that is absurd enough, but Saber leaping skyward in pursuit of her is just outright ridiculous. No, they're servants. Normal logic doesn't apply here. Like Ryder, Saber moves alongside of the building, striking at her with dizzying speed. The two shadows clash and cross against each other. The sight of the two of them fighting overhead, darting along the building as they climb into the air, is like watching two fighter jets. All the while, I follow Saber. I can't just watch him do nothing. The uneven footing prevents Saber from gaining ground on Ryder. The two clash in the air, rushing up to the rooftop. If Ryder came flying down from the top of the building, chances are Shinji's there. We have two possible ways to win our fight against Ryder. Either we defeat her directly or we defeat her master. Whichever it is, it has to be before she deploys her noble phantasm. While Saber's fighting Ryder, there's only one thing I should be doing. Going after Shinji. Get that fucking asshole. Oh, interlude. The two shadows climb upwards. They continue to distance themselves from the ground, gaining more and more altitude. Neither needs proper footing. They just kick their way up along the wall. As it happens, they clash countless times, all before they ever reach the top. For anyone watching from the ground, they'd probably think they were seeing a game of pinball, though I doubt they'd be able to follow the two with the naked eye. It's like a deadly circus act. The collisions are barely discernible, invisible to normal human beings. Saber had no desire to be a part of this crazy circus act. She may be a servant, but she can't fly through the sky. She might be able to run up along the building's wall, but that's it. This is no better than a free fall for her. She alternates between kicking off from the building before she loses momentum and slowing to let gravity take hold of her. It may be no exaggeration to say she's falling into the sky. Now that she's started, she'll continue all the way up to the rooftop. And in that entire journey, if her opponent hits her, she'll be hurled to the ground. But it seems the laws of gravity do not apply to the enemy. It's the opponent Saber has to defeat. The streak of purple shoots across the side of the building in pursuit of Saber while Saber focuses on reaching the roof. Gravity has no hold on Ryder. She leaps around effortlessly, moving in and from all directions, up, down, left, right, to strike at Saber. Her long hair trails out behind her like a comet tail, and she looks like a snake wrapping itself around a log. Saber's feet touch the wall. She leans sideways and kicks the wall, aiming for the edge of the building. Saber suddenly shoots out at a right angle to her previous trajectory. Not one of the attacks finds its mark. Ryder is simply no match for Saber's raw power. Saber shakes Ryder off with a single kick, then kicks upwards once again when she reaches the building's side. She aims herself upward. Ryder is like a serpent coiling around the building. Saber is like a bursting spark. But it looks like Ryder might have predicted her moves. The distance between them remains the same. Ryder continues along the side of the building, not letting Saber open any distance between them. She strikes every time Saber has to take a step. Saber fends Ryder off with her blade and jumps to put some space between them. Though she's able to fend off Ryder's coiling pursuit, there's only so much she can do in the air. Where before there had been no contest in their combat ability, they are now more evenly matched. Neither has an attack that can bring this to a close. No, Ryder is withholding her own deadliest attack. Every time Saber leaps at Ryder, Ryder fends off her attack but never counterattacks. Ryder is only keeping Saber at bay as she makes her way to the rooftop. Saber curses at her cowardly enemy. To a knight like Saber, a fight like this is as good as an insult. Such a thing should involve both opponents giving their all in their clash. By that belief, Ryder's actions are disrespectful. Ryder's voice is cool. She's right. Saber's clearly not used to fighting in the air. This is probably a first for her, actually. Knights are meant to fight on solid ground. They're not supposed to cling to walls like her opponent. Ryder moves upward, her manner inviting. She's set this whole thing up. Saber understands that, though. At the end of this circus, yes, Ryder's ideal positioning must be waiting up above. Ryder can't use her trump card so readily, which is why she's luring her prey to a place there will be no interruptions, so they can settle this with her ultimate attack. As soon as she reaches the roof, she'll be in a difficult position. If Ryder's Noble Phantasm is exactly what Saber thinks it is, she won't have any defense against it. But there is no turning back now. We just can't ignore Ryder or her master. This isn't about defeating an enemy in the Holy Grail War. Saber must defeat Ryder here and now to protect her master. Because she has no other choice. This whole situation must be absolutely dumbfounding for her. She's probably thought more than once about not wanting to push her master to do anything crazy. The two continue gaining altitude. Their rapid clashes ring out across the building as their battle approaches its final destination. I rush up the stairs while I complain. I manage to enter the building from the back, but the elevator doesn't go all the way to the roof. I have to run up the remaining 10 flights of stairs. I climb the stairs as fast as I can. I'm not sure how long it's been since Saber and I split up. Probably less than 10 minutes, but that's too long. You never know how or when a battle will end. Even Saber's not perfect. She could make a mistake and get into trouble. So before that happens, if I can make Shinji use up his command spells, Ryder might stop fighting. The harder I run, the more my still healing body aches. Sprinting around the building, then up the stairs, has left me out of breath. But I don't slow down. No, I speed up. Something about this has me worried. I'm not sure why, but my chest hurts. It's not a physical pain. Something's warning me of danger ahead. Saber can't win. There's something on this rooftop that shouldn't be faced. I try to shake this feeling off and focus on climbing the stairs. The wind is strong. The moment I open the door, the city's nightscape fills my field of vision. Scorch marks pock the concrete. And at its center, at the heart of the burned, scarred rooftop, Saber is on her knees.
Saber!
Shiro, どうしてここに?
Saber's shoulders heave with labored breathing. The moment I rush to her, I notice something strange floating up above me. Or rather, the sheer overwhelming amount of magical energy forces me to take notice. I look up towards the sky. Flapping wings. I hear flapping wings. Something, a paler and more blinding white than the light of the moon, hovers over me. It is a legendary mystic I've only heard about in myth. The moment she reaches the rooftop, Saber confronts her opponent's true form. Saber leans on her sword, exhausted, and looks up. The white light rushes toward her. Saber unleashes the wind that shrouds her sword, using it to create an invisible barrier. She goes flying backward. Her attempt to block the onrushing Pegasus fails to even slow it down. The force of the impact knocks Saber back, slamming her brutally into the ground. There's no time to be lying down. Pegasus turns mid-air and resumes its glide without so much as pausing. She can't possibly brace herself. Her only option is to try to evade. Even if she manages that, the after effect of its passage will chip away at her defenses. If this keeps up, it will hit her eventually. The white light streaks down toward her. Pegasus sails far overhead and knocks Saber backward before sweeping back into the skies. Oh shit, motherfucker. Every time. Hold on. Now my guide's all fucked up. Okay, there we go. God damn it. Saber can't possibly reach it. There are no walls she can kick off of, not up here. Even if she could, there's no way to actually reach the Pegasus. Despite her disadvantage, Saber waits for an opportunity to fight back. Pegasus it may be, but it's a living creature, so she should still be able to kill it if she can just get a chance. Her only opportunity for victory is if Ryder makes a mistake at the reins.
驚きました。見かけによらず頑丈ですね。あなたは。
Ryder's voice comes from high above. Saber grips her sword tightly as she looks up.
ですが、それに意味はありますか？あなたには勝ち目などない。散るしかないのなら、潔く消えなさい。
Ryder's voice is calm. Even so, I hear just the slightest bit of joy in it.
幻想種だとは睨んでいましたが、まさかそんなものを持ち出してくるとは思いませんでした、ライダー。
A phantasmal species. As the name suggests, it refers to creatures which exist within an illusion. Humanoids like fairies and giants. Demonic creatures like Oni and dragons. If they are considered mystics, that alone makes them superior to magecraft. It's the law of nature for mystics to be destroyed by other stronger mystics. In the same way magecraft grows in power with knowledge. Phantasmal species accumulate power from their longevity. Even if a human masters magecraft, the most they can accumulate is about 500 years worth of it. Take a species that's lived since ancient times. There's just no contest between that and a mystic that's only 500 years old. But it's been a long, long time since humans and phantasmals existed in the same world. The longer the phantasmal has lived, the further it's distanced itself from this world. The only phantasmal species in the modern world are a scant few hundred years old. So Saber expected the phantasmal rider, as her mount, would only be a few hundred years old.
寝台のものを持ち出すとは、随分と業が深いようですね、ライダー。
ええ。私はあなたたちとは違う。むしろ、あなたたちの敵だったものに過ぎない。故に、私が操るのは、あなたたちが駆逐してきた、かわいそうな子たちだけよ。
なるほど。歪んでいるとは思いましたが、英霊ではなく悪鬼の類でしたか、あなたは。
せいぜい呪いなさい。あなたでは私の子に触れることさえできないのだから。
The Pegasus rests its wings in the air. It's a giant arrow aimed at Saber's heart, ready to fire at a moment's notice. She glares at the creature and thinks. Pegasus itself is not a powerful phantasmal species. A typical Pegasus is just a phantasmal that can only match a demonic beast in power. Were that the case, it would be easy to defeat with Saber's invisible air alone. But it isn't the case. That Pegasus has existed since the Age of Gods, and has long since reached the level of a phantasmal. The horse is nearing the level of the dragon race, considered to be the strongest of all phantasmals. At the very least, its defenses are probably already at the level of a dragon race. Since Pegasus possesses divine protection that exceeds even Saber's, whose magic resistance is unparalleled. The way it glides through the air, trailing massive amounts of magical energy, is like a castle wall bearing down on Saber. It can't be possible to avoid or repel something like that. But something else is odd here. Ryder simply summoned Pegasus, and it has no true name of its own. To Ryder, Pegasus is little more than, say, a favorite dagger, and that means she has yet to use her noble phantasm. Even in her dire predicament, the possibility of defeat never enters Saber's mind. Instead, she thinks her chance will come when Ryder really starts to get serious. Whatever Ryder's noble phantasm may be, it'll have no trouble destroying a building like this. She just needs to focus on defending herself, on staying alive. Then all she'll have to do is cut Ryder down as soon as the opportunity presents itself. Yes, if only her master hadn't shown up. I look up towards the sky. Flapping wings. I hear flapping wings. Something, a paler and more blinding white than the light of the moon, hovers over me. It is a legendary mystic I've only heard about in myth. The identity of Ryder's noble phantasm. Could that be what scorched the rooftop and forced Saber to her knees? I see that Ryder is, as her class name suggests, riding a horse tearing across the sky. shift my focus from Ryder. I thought I heard something.
シンジかいるんだろう出てこい
I can't tell how strong Ryder is while she's on Pegasus. All I can tell is that White Fiend has more magical energy in it than a few hundred mages could muster. No wonder the roof is a charred mess. That monster can destroy damn near anything around it just by running across it. If that thing charges from up in the sky, even Saber won't be able to avoid it.
隠れるなやってきてやったんだ顔ぐらい見せやがれ
It's a race against time. I need to defeat Shinji. If I defeat the Master, Ryder will disappear. I hear laughter. Shinji must be hiding somewhere.
シンジ
見たかエミヤこれが僕とお前の力の差だ
Only his voice echoes. I fight down my impatience and try to focus on the sound of his laughter. Damn, the wind's so strong. I can't tell where the laughter's coming from.
残念だったな格好をつけて余裕ぶってるからこういう目に遭うんだマヌケ殺す時はささっさと殺さなきゃダメだって理解できたかい
シンジ
Don't rush. Let him talk. Let him talk all he wants. The more he talks, the better chance I have of finding him.
けど僕は違うよお前もあのサーバントもここで終わりだ何これでも知らない仲じゃない昨日の借りもあるしさせめて苦しまないように一瞬で死んじゃえよ
This is bad. Pegasus, still high up in the sky, tips his head towards Saber. The vortex of magical energy rolls faster, as if it knows no limit. If that thing comes at us at full speed, it'll blow the entire roof apart.
なーに安心しろエミヤお前に邪魔されたけどさ学校のバカどももすぐに後を追わせてやるよお前が寂しいってんならクソ鬱陶しいさくらも付き合わせてやろうじゃないか
シンジお前
やれないだまずはその女だ跡形も残すなよ
セイバ
A white comet streaks toward us, and at that moment, a storm rages around me.
セイバ
For the first time, she forgets her enemy in battle. She's furious with her master for walking into this death trap. But she's also angry with herself for failing to anticipate him doing so. All those thoughts are cast aside now. What else can she do? Even now, in the midst of danger, she can see only concern for her well-being in his eyes.
シロ
He's always been like this, actually. He may have understood that she was an exceptional knight, but that's never how he saw her.
どうやら余興はここまでのようねセイバー
Ryder's giggling voice reaches her even now. Ryder touches Pegasus's neck with both her hands, and the beast's wings beat harder.
私の宝具は強力ゆえ地上で使うには適していない使えばどうしても人目につくまだ他にマスターがいる以上けれどここなら覗き見される恐れはないあなたを誘い出したのはここでなら都合がいいからと分かりましたか
Something begins to form in Ryder's hands. It seems insignificant, really. A glittering golden rope.
それが貴様の宝具かライダー
ええ私の趣味ではありませんがこの子は優しすぎて戦いには向いていないだからこんなものでも使わないと
Pegasus lowers its head. Still talking. This feral nature is not inborn from the creature itself, but coaxed from it by Ryder's touch.
消えなさいセイバーたとえあなたが生き延びようとあなたのマスターは私からは逃げられないマスターさえ死ねば頑丈なあなたもそれまででしょう
It is the inarguable truth. Ryder's noble phantasm will utterly destroy the roof. If she hurried, she might be able to carry Shiro away and escape, but Ryder won't stop at just destroying the rooftop. Her master is not strong enough to survive a collapsing building. Meaning to protect her master, She will have to destroy her enemy, Pegasus and all. She doesn't have time to think about whether this is the right thing to do. Saber glances one final time at her master, still some distance from her. He's doing his best to fill his role simply by gritting his teeth and keeping back.
風よ
The last of her hesitation fades. What is ahead no longer matters. All that matters is this moment, and in it she must be her master's blade and defeat the enemy they now face.
やれないだ。まずはその女だ。跡形も残すなよ。
I hear the jarring, grating shout. In that moment, Pegasus ascends higher and vanishes from sight. Pegasus flies up into the air. It's already lost its form. It rises up as if to shoot through the moon and then continues its arc by flapping its wings, powering itself down toward the ground. The blazing white comet streaks downward. It becomes an arrow of searing white light, but Rider continues urging it on. There's only one target. It intends to annihilate its enemy entirely, and the isolated garden in the sky along with it.
ベルレ
She speaks his name. Noble Phantasm is the miracle that is released by speaking its true name. It's divine lightning. A thunderous flash. There's no emotion in her eyes as she looks on.
この場所ならば人目につかないと言ったなライダー
The wind unfurls from her blade and becomes a storm.
どうかなここなら地上を焼き払う憂いもない
The seal is broken. Layers of wind unfold from her blade. Her sword is finally visible. A storm rages before my eyes. The white light descends upon the rooftop. Saber, though she is the sole focus of that light, doesn't move. The raging wind. She's the source. No, not Saber herself. Her sword. I can't believe what I'm seeing. The blade should be invisible, but there it is. Like unwrapping bandages, the wind slowly coils away from her blade. The wind rages on. The multiple layers of seals peel away. The bands of wind dissolve into the air. She readies her now visible sword and turns back toward Pegasus as it dives towards her. Rider approaches his brilliant flare of light. Bellerophon is now large enough to engulf the entire rooftop, and is only picking up speed to destroy us, building and all. The bridle of chivalry lights up the roof. Time stops. In the face of inescapable destruction, my mind goes blank. But the light is not coming from the bridle of chivalry. The light churns and builds upon itself. The light of Rider's mount is brilliant, but it can't hold a candle to the purity I see in this one. Saber is holding the ultimate sacred sword that has collected the lights of the stars.
エクス
There it is. Yeah, that'll do it. A single line of brilliant light. It's a blade of light shearing through everything it touches. The beam of light destroys Rider utterly as it cleaves through the clouds and disappears into the night sky. Most likely, if that sword had been used on the ground, it would have carved a trail of devastation through the city. Her sword is not unseeable. It simply does not reveal itself. It is the golden sword that captivates all who behold it, with a true name of surpassing fame. Excalibur, the sword of promised victory. A sword that is said to have existed in England. A sword wielded by the king who has become the very symbol of knighthood. The strongest of the servant's noble phantasms, sealed by several bounded fields. That is Saber's proof of her place as a hero. Well, bye, Ryder. Silence falls over the rooftop. The wind has died down, and not so much as a breeze whispers across the rooftop. I stand, dazed, in place. I can't approach Saber. I'm still too confused to act. Or maybe I'm just captivated by her sword. My mind is racing and I can't seem to think of much that makes sense. Why does she have that sword? That golden sword belongs to a famous knightly king. Everyone knows who. As I try to figure out how she came to have something like that, I realize my mind is doing everything it can to deny the simplest of the possible answers. I don't need to be making all these assumptions. That sword's always been hers. And that's why her true name is so easy to figure out. The owner of that sacred sword can have only one name. Saber remains motionless where she stands. I should approach her, but my body won't listen. I've been told so many times that Saber's a heroic spirit. But now that I've seen for myself that she is indeed a great hero of the past, I hesitate to even get closer to her. Fuck you, Shinji. I hear a shriek. Something is burning in the shadows. I turn to look. I see a burning book slowly dissolving into a pile of ash and... I see Shinji cringing as he watches the book burn.
Shinji!
He must have realized how much trouble he's in now that Ryder has been defeated. Shinji turns and sprints towards the exit from the rooftop. He leaps through the door to the stairway.
Mate, Shinji!
I can't let him get away again. The moment I turn to pursue Shinji, just out of the corner of my eye, I see Saber collapse. My mind stops. Shinji's fleeing and Saber's fallen to the ground. I can't leave Saber alone. Ryder's gone and the book that acted as Shinji's command spell is burned to ash. Shinji doesn't have a servant anymore and he's lost his command spells. The contest is as good as over. Saber is my priority now.
Saber!
I rush to her. She's not holding the golden sword anymore. It's disappeared and now there's just Saber lying on the ground. Saber's in bad shape. Beads of sweat trickle down her brow and her breath is shallow, labored. She looks like she's got a fever.
そんなおいセイバー何がどうしたって言うんだ
I call out to Saber nervously, but she doesn't respond. She's out cold.
セイバー
I touch her forehead. I jerk my hand away. It's unnaturally hot. She's got to be running a fever of over 40 degrees.
セイバーおいしっかりしろ
I call out to her, but her only response is shallow, anguished breathing. I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know what to do, but I can't just stand around.
うちに連れて行くからな文句があるなら後にしてくれ
I lift Saber up. She's so light. I knew that, of course, but now she seems even lighter. No more than that. She's...
熱いちゃんと生きてる
Saber's still the person I've known all this time. I'm pissed with myself for even hesitating. Damn, what's it matter if she's a hero? No matter who Saber is, she's here and she's still warm. How much of an idiot was I for putting up this wall between us before?
すぐに帰るからなそれまでおとなしくしてろよセイバー
I start running, Saber in my arms. There's no sense of triumph from this victory. All I feel is Saber in my arms, barely breathing.
終わったわよ。和室に寝かせてきたけど、あの分じゃしばらく目を覚まさないでしょうね。
そうか遠坂がいてくれて助かった俺じゃそのセイバーの手当てなんてできないからな
まあ鎧を脱がせて楽にさせただけだからお礼を言われるほどじゃないわ。セイバーの体も良くならないし、私は何もしてないもの。
Still, I'm glad Tosaka was here. The moment I arrived home carrying Saber, Tosaka understood what was going on. It's been an hour. She tried telling Saber what she was going to do, then took her armor off.
それで何があったの？シンジを探しに行って帰ってきたと思ったらセイバーがあれでしょ。一波乱あったのはわかるけど説明してくれないかしら。
I don't know how to explain. Saber's noble phantasm. I shouldn't disclose her true name. I can't decide on my own to reveal that.
ライダーを倒した。シンジはレイジを失ってリタイアしたよ。ただその時にセイバーがホーグを使ってその後に倒れたんだ。
セイバーのホーグね。まあ追求するのは勘弁してあげるわ。今のあなたたちはそれどころじゃないものね。
それどころじゃないってどういうことだ？
言葉通りの意味よ。あなただってうすうすは気づいているんでしょ。このままじゃセイバーが消えるってことぐらい。
She says it so calmly. Tosaka just casually brings up the one thing I've been trying so hard to avoid.
消えるってセイバーが消えるっていうのかお前は。
当然でしょ。セイバーの魔力はほとんど空っぽなのよ。セイバーの宝具がどんなものだったかは知らないけど、よっぽど魔力を使うものだったんでしょうね。セイバーは自分の中の魔力をほぼ消費してしまった。今彼女が苦しんでいるのはね、消えようとしている自分を必死に留めているからよ。
魔力がないから消える？セイバーは傷を負ってもいないのに消えるっていうのか？
ええ、サーバントにとっては外的ダメージより魔力切れの方が深刻な問題よ。霊体であるサーバントに肉体を与えているのは魔力だもの。それがなくなれば消えるしかない。もっともそんなことにならないようにマスターはサーバントに魔力を送るんだけど、あなたはそれができないでしょ。だからセイバーは自分の魔力だけで戦うしかない。切れたらそれまでよ。こんなこと一番初めに説明したでしょ。
That is definitely what Saber said.
けど今までは大丈夫だったじゃないか。セイバーだって眠っていれば持ち直すって。
She
そ
never
れ
said
は
recover.
セイバーの魔力量が桁外れだったからよ。そうね、確かにセイバーの魔力はまだ残ってる。彼女ならまだ消えずに肉体を保つぐらいの魔力は回復できるとは思うけど、結局はそこ止まりよ。セイバーはずっと今の状態で戦うことになる。宝具を使うなんてもってのほか。次に宝具を使えばセイバーは間違いなく消え去るでしょうね。
次に宝具を使えば消える。
Well, I wouldn't want Saber fighting like this at all. I don't ever want to see Saber on her knees in that kind of pain again.
理解できた？結局セイバーを以前の状態に戻す方法は2つだけよ。
Hold on a sec. Alright, sorry about that. Had a couple of technical difficulties and someone's trying to call me on the phone. There's somewhere where the reception is absolutely fucking dog shit. Anyway.
マスターがサーバントに魔力を提供するか、サーバントが自分で魔力を補充するか。
Right, so how do we do one of those? A servant collecting it themselves? Yeah, that would mean killing innocent people like Ryder.
まさかセイバーはそんなことはしない。セイバー自身がそんなことはしないと言ったんだ。
でしょうね。一般人を犠牲にするぐらいならセイバーは潔く消えるでしょう。なら方法は一つだけよ。セイバーを消したくないのならあなたが魔力を提供するしかないわ。
それはできるならとっくにそうしてるさ。 けど俺は魔力を提供する方法なんて知らない。あいにく遠坂みたいに何でもできるってわけじゃないんだ。
まあね、共有の魔術を教えてあげても間に合わない。シロは魔術師に向いてないから覚えるのに1年ぐらいかかるだろうし、覚えたところで使えないわ。まあ召喚時にセイバーとパスは通っているはずだから、まだ他に方法があるかもしれないけど。
Yeah.
いい？セイバーを助けたいのなら彼女自身に人を吸わせて魂を食べさせるしかない。それはあなたにも分かってると思うけど。
That's the most realistic method. But it's...
もちろんセイバーは嫌がるでしょうけど、放っておけば遅かれ早かれセイバーは消えて、あなたは他のマスターから狙われることになる。
Saber's going to disappear. I can't even consider that. I still remember the warmth of her body when I was carrying her.
なら答えは一つよ。レイジを使いなさい、エミヤ君。それで最悪の事態は避けられる。
What she's trying to say is, I need to order Saber to kill innocent people. I can't say anything. I resent what Tosaka is saying, but there's a part of me that has to admit it could be one of our options.
決断はあなたに任せるわ。セイバーは眠らせておけば落ち着くだろうけど、それでも限界は近いでしょうね。
Tosaka leaves the living room. I can't even lift my head. All I can do is listen to the sound of her footsteps receding down the hall. I was right at the fucking end, too. Of course I was. Alright. Well, we have quite the choice to make next time, huh? Alright. So, I'll see you all then. And we'll see what Shiro decides. So, bye.